It's been a little bit of a frustrating week for me in the markets. Today, what I was looking at was the first green day pattern SPRT. Now, I ended up seeing this pattern on my phone. I saw the first green day on it. Traditionally, I don't really trade from my phone. I do find it really hard to actually clearly identify the pattern from the phone. It just doesn't look the same. So once I got back to the computer, started recording the video, I kind of started thinking that I was too early on the trade. I've been stalking this chart for a while. It's had a nice big run up and a few red candles here. And what I was anticipating it was having a first green day around the $20 mark. I was thinking that green candle right here may actually act as support temporarily and push it back up. So I was kind of surprised that it's having a first green day today. What I'm doing right now is because I set the bracket orders on my phone, I want to make sure the bracket orders are in the proper location. I'm still not really convinced whether or not this bracket order down here is in the right area. And so I'm also writing down my trading workbook at the same time. I don't really have a lot of conviction on this trade now that I'm looking at it on the computer. I do think that I got in too early, not only on the first green day, but I also think I bought it too early on the day. Traditionally, I like to wait until around the 8 to 8:30 mark to even start looking for a trade. I usually start to look for a trade around the 8 o'clock mark. That kind of gives me an ability to let the market shake its way out, determine what direction it wants to go, let any patterns in a trade start to set up, and then I can actually attack that way. Because I bought this one around the 7:45 mark, I just kind of thinking, well, I think this may be too early. Not only again on the day, but I also think it's too early on the pattern. I do think it's going to keep coming down now that I'm looking at on the computer. In case I'm wrong on that, I'm just going to leave the bracket order set up. Normally, what I like to see on the first green days is at least another one of like 3 red candles consecutive in a row. This candle I don't really consider a red candle. It's more of a hesitation. It doesn't know what direction the market wants to go at that point, either up or down. And it decided to go down for these past 2 days. I do think on this day, even though it's a first green day, I think it's possible it has a bit more of a downside on it. So right here, I'm just taking a picture and posting on Twitter. So at this point, I'm kind of thinking the trade may end up working. It had a small pullback, but it seems like it's consolidating on our VWAP. And then that candle kind of comes down, gets me a little bit more concerned. And at this point, like I said, I don't know if this risk right here that I have set up correctly. I may have to reevaluate that. So I put my mouse on it. I'm kind of mentally thinking whether or not I want to pull my stop. as it starts to come down, end up getting too fearful. I think it's going to get me stopped out and potentially end up reversing, so I end up pulling my stop. Basically, trading mechanically, that's kind of an error. It's not kind of an error; it is an error. So after that, I do end up writing it down in my trading workbook. And the trading workbook is a mental diary of what you're actually thinking or feeling in a trade. It's a great way to actually reflect back on your trades throughout the week and identify any sort of behavioral patterns that you're doing and try to correct that behavioral pattern going forward. It's best to actually handwrite it down because it's just some sort of connection with your handwritten words and the way that you actually view it mentally versus seeing it on the screen. So after I recognize that I made a trading error, I end up canceling the other part of the order because I can't set up just one leg of the bracket order. You have to set them up both at the same time. So what I'm doing right now is on my phone, I'm setting up that second leg of the bracket order. But I am also watching this 26 level. I think that it's possible that that 26 level will hold and the bracket order that I had of the 25.92 risk was actually accurate. And that's about a 5% risk. So what I normally try to do is I'll aim for a 5% risk with a price target or sell target between 20 to 30%. Because I'm aiming for a little bit higher of a profit, I do end up taking a little bit more losses over time. So I might have, depends on the market, I might end up taking 3, 4, 5 losses in a row and have 2 winning trades, 3 winning trades in a row, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 losses. And over time, over a series of trades, I'm becoming net profitable. So starting from the beginning of the week, from the 30th to the 31st and the 1st, I've taken 3 losses so far. So determining what this trade does, I may end up having to reevaluate some of the situations. I'm kind of thinking whether or not I'm trading too many patterns. Traditionally, my main focus has been ABCD patterns and wedge patterns, which is kind of the same thing, just different variations of the same pattern. And lately, I've been gathering data for first screen days and gap and graph reversals, and I have been trading them. And for some reason, on my paper account, the trades are working, and in my live account, it seems like I'm just choosing the wrong stock. A lot of people think that the paper accounts, it's easier to grow that versus your live account. The biggest reason why that is there's lack of emotional connection. So you're able to execute the trades without hesitation or reservation or fear, which allows you to actually grow your paper account. Versus on a live account, there's too much emotional attachment to the money. I do actually have a video on how the professional use paper money, which is one of the reasons why I'll trade paper account alongside with my live account to determine kind of what type of behavioral problems I'm having, execution problems I'm having. If there's trades that I'm not taking out of fear, I can recognize that through the paper account and I document that. And I'll put a link below to that video, or I'll tag it on the end of this video so that way you guys can watch that. And so I'm still thinking that this 26 level may hold. At this point, I'm kind of debating, or I'm kind of thinking that the stock may end up going a little bit higher. So what I end up doing is changing my sell target to 35. I do think if it works, 35 will be the resistance. So I end up changing that to 35. My thought process is that it's going to come down, hold support around this level where it did pre-market, going to go back up to VWAP and potentially squeeze out any shorts that's in this. I don't have a huge position in this. With the small account challenge, I only have 8 shares. So this is my entry level right here. For some of you who haven't seen, this is how I set up my orders. I'll actually change that from single to a bracket order and have a list of what bracket orders percentage and sell targets that it's already there. That's all predetermined based off the data that I have. So with it kind of getting stuffed around this area, you can see over here that support may not be resistance. The volume's starting to die on this chart. So I do think that, I think that was a little bit too early. I'm still anticipating it coming down to around the $20 range. So at this point, I need to accept a lot, pretty much accept the cost of the trade. The cost of the trade is basically if it gets me stopped out at my level that I predetermined. That's the cost of the trade. So I end up just kind of sitting on my hands and letting the trade work. Trading, in essence, is basically identifying an edge, identifying risk, and executing the trade. Either the trade works or it doesn't. There's no way to determine what's going to be a profitable trade before you get into the trade. There's no way to actually determine before you enter into the trade what the levels it's going to reach. So that's one of the reasons why the way that I think about trading is more of a casino. It's more just kind of a random probabilities of the patterns. And over time, as long as you're playing those patterns properly, over time you'll actually become net profitable. So I'm getting stopped out right there. A big candle. Watching level 2s, which again I don't really put too much emphasis on level 2s. I pretty much just put a lot of emphasis on the chart and price action. I kind of don't think this is going to go much of anywhere. You can see the seller candle, which is on my volume. I have green for buyers and red for sellers. There's a lot more selling volume coming in. And at this point, I kind of think the chart's dead. So if you guys like these videos, leave a comment below. And just watching it. So yeah, if you like these videos, leave a comment below. I'd like to know of how your week of trading has been going. Has it been a little bit rough? The market's been a little bit slow, but there's still opportunities out there. And that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys next time.